Now, the second tale from the trip I'm going to tell you is much, much more recent, and it was when I busted my knee back in 2019 and went to the ER. They thought it was just dislocated, and I was like, okay, doc, I don't want to be awake when you guys put it back in. You know what I'm saying? Just give me a little something, knock me out, whatever. I was expecting like some laughing gas from the dentist or something, something short term. They could just give me real quick, slap it in, and then be over like 10, 15 minutes, whatever. Apparently, they decided to give me ketamine, and I remember they gave me the injection, and I mean, it's like I fell asleep, and then when I came to, I was falling backwards out of a door. So there was like a horizontal door above me, and I'm falling back first out of it. And the door is nothing but light. It is so bright you can't even see anything past it. I mean, it looks brighter than the sun. And I can't remember anything on the other side of that door, but I can tell you that as soon as I was awake and or alert, whatever, able to see what was going on here, like I had the feeling of I was having the time of my life, and I didn't want to leave. Wherever was that, whatever was on the other side of that door, I didn't want to go. Like I said, I was having the best time. Like when you're a kid and you go to your grandparents, and then it's time to go home, or you go to your best friend's house and you spend the weekend, and Sunday comes and your parents come to pick you up and you don't want to leave, okay, because you're having so much fun. And then this door starts to close, and it looks like when you're in your kitchen in the middle of the night, and you open the fridge and you close it, you can see that seam of light, that goes around the door, and it slowly fades, and boom, it's gone. Now, as soon as it was gone, it sealed up, and there was no door at all, and I was floating in the universe. I could see nebulas, stars, comets, all kinds of crazy shit. And all I can think to myself is, what the fuck is going on? I was very aware that I had just had an accident. I didn't feel drunk. I didn't feel high. And I was like, wait a minute. I was just in the emergency room. What is going on? Did I die? Like, what is happening? How long have I been out here? How long has this been going on? And then the more I tried to think about time and how long a minute was, how long is 30 seconds, how long is a second, the more I realized that it didn't exist where I was. The more I tried to think about it, it was just impossible to even comprehend time. It was just like, no, that's not a thing here. You can't even think about it. There's no measure for it here. It doesn't exist. And I just remember sitting there drifting. And then I got this genius idea to look at my body. And when I looked at my arms and my hands, it looks like I was made of quartz. That perfect six-sided cylindrical with the little points on the end. Like I was made out of quartz, and it was very purple, like a very vibrant, gnarly purple. And I mean, it looked like the hardest thing in the universe, but then when I went to move my fingers, it was as soft and malleable like jello. And I was like, holy shit. And again, I sat there. I can't tell you how long I was out there. Eventually, though, it felt like I was being swept down a river. That feeling when you're in a fairly fast river and the current's sweeping you along. And then it got really fast. And then I could definitely tell I was in a tube or a straw. You could easily tell it was a circular looking room. And then, yeah, I was still in the universe, but it was just projected onto this tube. And I don't know how else to describe it beyond that. Like, it was literally like a projector, and you could just see it projected on the curvature of these walls in this tube. And then it started moving faster, and then it started becoming rainbow colored, like the Bifrost in the Thor movies. Okay? And then when I looked down, there was a million of me, all stacked on top of one another. And then when I looked up, there was a million of me stacked on top of one another. It was like when people fold up the paper and cut it up and they string it out and it's all the children holding hands. It was like that, but vertical. Okay. Now, these bodies started to reconnect. They started to recompile. And every single time one of these forms reconnected with the bottom one, it felt like I was going through something. Like the first one felt like tissue paper. The next one, it felt like, the wood frame with the artist's canvas on it. It was a little thicker. It had a little more pop. The next one was like a hay roof. Then it was like a house roof. Then it was like I was getting smacked through 6 feet of concrete. And every single time one of these started reconnecting, it felt like my brain was just being smashed into the front of my skull. And then eventually, when I hit the very last one, boom! I was sitting in a chair, really nice, fancy chair. And there was the craziest fucking looking console in front of me. There was gears, buttons, levers, the little things that they spin, the little crank wheel. I had like a horn thing, the big lever with the bike handle brake on it. You pull it back, and there's the toggle switches and buttons and knobs and all kinds of meters and shit. And I look up, and there's these 2 great big windows. And I look out the window, and I can see the hospital room through the window. Okay? And I can see my old lady sitting there on her phone. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to get this guy turned back on and running. So I start, slamming the gears, stomping the pedals, working all these things, right? And then I had this uncontrollable urge to spit. And thank God there was this old-timey spittoon right there. And then, pa-ting! Pa-ting! And I just keep freaking moving these levers and gears. Pa-ting! Pa-ting! Now, in reality, what's happening is as I'm spitting, I'm just bleh, bleh, bleh. And I'm just spitting and drooling all over myself, apparently, as I'm coming out of it. Now, eventually, as I'm working these gears and levers, the windows all of a sudden start getting real big, and they just start sweeping the office away. And all of a sudden, I'm back, and I question reality at this point. Is this real life right now? I'm not really sure, after what I just went through. But, after that experience, I have no doubt there's something waiting for us after this life. This is a flesh prison. It's only meant good for this world, and it's temporary. And like I said, I have no doubt in my mind now after that door of light and the way I felt that there's something waiting for us all.